Now, in my last video, I talked about essential players, but in this one, we're covering differentials. With your 5 free transfers, of course, low-owned players, if they do well, will propel you up the leaderboard. All right, the first player is one that's, well, it's appeared on both videos. Joachim Andersen. I think he's brilliant, particularly with the next 3 fixtures in mind. Burnley, Forest and West Ham as the next 3. Fulham are not all that amazing for keeping clean sheets is the only issue. They've only kept 3 from, well, Anderson's only kept 3 from 14 appearances so far this season. But I think those fixtures, they're extra special, aren't they, in terms of likelihood to keep a clean sheet. And he is just a DEFCON monster as well. You'd like to think that even if he doesn't keep a clean sheet, Fulham don't concede more than 2 goals. So he should come away with those fixtures with hopefully at least 4 points in each game, providing he obviously hits the DEFCON. He is one of, I think, the 3rd best player in the game for DEFCON per 90. And it extends beyond just him playing for Fulham as well. When he's on international duty for Denmark, he is a player that makes a ridiculous amount of clearances, blocks and interceptions in tackles. That's what he does. I'm pretty sure it is 4.6% owned alongside 4.6 million. That might go up and up and up as time goes on towards the deadline. I mean, I do expect Joachim Andersen to be a fairly popular buy for managers that don't have him. But yeah, I think he's a great asset in the game and nice and low owned as well. So hopefully if he does well this week or the next few weeks, he should go up the leaderboard with his points. Another defender that I like the look of, and he does have a bit of a downside, but there's another one in Van der Berg that plays for Brentford you could go for as well. I really like Nathan Collins. Thinking back to, was it Gameweek 13 or 14 where everyone used their free hit? Brentford looked, well, Nathan Collins, at least from that game week, that was the last time I probably watched Brentford in depth, but he looked a real threat from set pieces. And in a similar vein to, I guess, Fulham, they've not kept all that many clean sheets so far, but I think their fixtures coming up, they do look really good. Leeds, Wolves, Bournemouth, Tottenham, Everton, and then just long term, I think Brentford have probably the best fixtures of any team in the league for at least the next, like, I'd say 6 or 7 game weeks. He's offering definitely more goal threat than he's showing, and he's hitting 10.4 DEFCON per 90. I think, you know, there's going to be, you'd like to think there's going to be some set piece attacking returns from these games. We all know how good Brentford are from set pieces. Collins is the target of Coyote's ridiculous long throws in terms of getting the flick-ons and stuff, and he's the target from most of their corners. 10.4 DEFCON, he is like the box-ticking exercise of defenders, really, where he should be able to score points through all the different means. The only downside, like I said, I think I said this earlier, he's on 4 yellow cards, so he's got a few more game weeks to survive that. I think you need to get through game week 19, so that is a little bit of a risk. If you're not prepared to take it, I think Sepp van der Berg from Brentford is not quite as good as Nathan Collins, but I think he's priced accordingly. So a Brentford defender, one of those 2 names that I mentioned, could be quite a nice differential for you. And Nathan Collins in particular, I think is the best one, you know, pound for pound, 1.3% owned in the game at the moment. Before we move on to some more attacking assets, I wanted to quickly mention the joint project that I'm doing with my very good mate and fellow FPL YouTuber, FPL Tom. It is the FPL Cartel. It's an exclusive members-only area. Both of us are in a Discord to give you all the advice you'd ever need on your FPL team, particularly, I think, between the time our deadline streams finish and the actual deadline in FPL. You'll find that both me and Tom tend to go a little bit earlier than the big accounts. And we're also doing an exclusive weekly podcast as well that's only available to FPL Cartel members. So if you're interested, like the sound of that, check out the FPL Cartel in the link, using the link in the description below. And we're also giving you 30 days as a free trial when you first sign up, so you get an idea of if you like it or not before you fully commit. Okay, the first attacking differential that I want to talk about is Matheus Cunha. Now, the stats he's put up this season, they're not amazing when you look at them on the face of it, are they? 12 appearances and only 2 attacking returns. 2.72 XG, 1.38 expected or 3.6 expected assists. But I think the way Man United are going to have to play now is going to be somewhat transformed by the players that are going to go to AFCON, which could work in their favour or could work against them in terms of overall play. But I think it surely only serves to help Matheus Cunha. And Mbeumo, his main striking, I guess, counterpart for Man United, is obviously gone. So I think he's going to take up more of the mantle, more of the attacking responsibility in that final third. The only worry, I also worry a little bit about no Ahmad as well. I think the alternatives they had when Ahmad is not available, not great from an attacking point of view. Those would be a couple of worry points for me. This is probably why he's not massively popular in the game. He's obviously come back from injury, but I think he's fully fit and should play 90 against Bournemouth. And Bournemouth, by the way, they've been pretty poor defensively in recent weeks, haven't they? I do like the idea of going for Cunha. I'd try to look past the recent numbers that he's put up. I think that's what you kind of have to do when you're picking a differential like this. I just think he's going to play every game, probably for 90 minutes, considering the lack of other competitions that Man United are in at the moment. And yeah, I really like him as an option. Next up then, another player that he's on 4 yellow cards, but he's avoided getting that fifth for quite a while now. We've got Dominic Szoboszlai. 6.6 million, 5.9% owned. A player he's just going to be on the pitch for every single minute for Liverpool, isn't he? And I think he's not becoming their talisman, but I think he's probably their shining light this season in terms of players that have actually performed. I just think with the fixtures they've got coming up, some attacking returns are going to come for Dominic Szoboszlai. He also has a little bit of DEFCON potential, though I think most of that has probably come when he's filled in at right back. I'd also, considering I think he took a penalty, didn't he, in the Champions League midweek, I'd question where he sits in the Liverpool sort of penalty-taking pecking order. It is probably Isak when he's on the pitch, but the question is, how often is Isak going to be on the pitch? Because whenever Isak isn't on the pitch, Dominic Szoboszlai is going to be the Liverpool penalty taker. I also think he has, by the looks of it, underperformed his data by some margin, particularly on the creative side of things. So yeah, I really quite like him as an option. Liverpool got some good fixtures. I know they've obviously been poor this season compared to their usual standards, but they haven't been completely devoid of being able to score goals. They've still been relatively threatening from an attacking point of view. He's a good price, 5.9% owned, and I think around a similar price to other midfielders that might be leaving for AFCON, or other midfielders that people have in their team that they might be wanting to sell. I don't mind him as an option. Never in a million years did I think I'd be talking about Harry Wilson as a pickable asset in FPL this season, but here we are. Fulham in their last few fixtures, I think, have looked really good. Something has happened with Marco Silva's coaching where Fulham at times, they are playing like a prime. The way they pass the ball around at times is fantastic. I was going to say a prime Barcelona. I don't think they're quite that good, but they are looking pretty good when they do have the ball. And I think you're not going to pick these guys long term, right? I think you're looking at the next 3 weeks really, but next 3 fixtures for Fulham. We spoke about this with Joachim Andersen. Burnley, Forest, West Ham. I'd say those are 3 teams to target. Harry Wilson's in good form at the moment, and it doesn't really matter what his underlying data suggests. The way that he scores his goals, they're mostly always worldies or screamers, right? I think he's a really good option in the game at the moment. He's 5.3 million, just 3.2% owned at the moment. We've all got 5-3 transfers, so I think picking one player for 3 game weeks is hardly a massive risk when we've all got 5 transfers. I really like him as an option, and I just think, when you look at the list of midfielders that are currently pickable, or just overall players that are pickable in FPL at the moment, the kind of either third striker or fifth midfielder that you have in the game, which you probably need at the moment, I can't get too excited about many options in those positions, if that makes sense. Harry Wilson, definitely in the midfield, I think for the next few games could be one of those players to get excited about. I also quite like Raul Jimenez as well, in the same vein from Fulham. I think not quite in as good a form as Harry Wilson is, but I think with Raul Jimenez, you're getting the number 9, right? You're getting the number 9 penalty taker, and previously you'd probably be worried about his minutes versus Muniz, who they've been pretty famous, I think, for sharing minutes across the board under Marco Silva, but Muniz is injured. I think at least for the next few fixtures, Muniz is going to be injured. So for me, that looks like Raul Jimenez has got a clear run in the Fulham team. He's going to be starting every game, taking penalties. Burnley, Forest, West Ham as their next few games. You're looking at someone like Mateta maybe, who is currently flagged in the game, has Man City coming up. Minutes aren't looking great for him. I think Raul Jimenez could be a perfect replacement just for those next few weeks. Finally, I left this to the end because they're probably the most boring to go for. And I also talked about them on my last video. But Dewsbury Hall and Elliot Anderson fall into a similar category as Harry Wilson. But I think just for the next few games, I prefer Harry Wilson. Dewsbury Hall has obviously been racking up a decent amount of attacking returns for Everton. 5.1 million, just 8% owned in the game. Chelsea, Arsenal was his next 2, which is probably a little bit of a put-off. But then after that, Burnley away, and the fixtures get really good for Everton after that. He's averaging not an amazing amount of DEFCON, but he might hit it in the odd game, and it's obviously the 7 attacking returns in the 14 games that you're targeting with him. Elliot Anderson is just a player that's going to play every game for 90 minutes for Forest, isn't he? 5.4 million, 5.6% owned. I wouldn't care about the fixtures that he has because he can hit DEFCON in every game. And with Forest being, well, him being on corners, I should probably say, he's always going to offer an attacking threat or a threat of assists or attacking returns from those corners and set pieces that he takes pretty much against anyone. So both of these players I really like. I do probably prefer Harry Wilson over the next few. Just, it's more exciting. And I think if you're going for a differential, you want them to be a more exciting assets. But at the same time, these two, with their ownership and price, are perfectly decent as well. All right, well, that is the end of the video, and I think that'll be my final one before the deadline. I've gone a bit mad with FPL uploads this week, but we've all got 5 free transfers. It's unprecedented in the game at the moment, and I just thought everyone's going to want to know, well, what can I spend them on? Because you have to spend one at least, right? So even if your team is absolutely perfect, you serve to lose your transfers if you do, or lose a transfer if you don't use it. So maybe even if you're happy with your team, one of those maybe Fulham guys could be a good addition if you don't have them already. If you enjoyed the video and found it useful, please leave me a like rating. If there's any differentials or punts or anything like that you think I've missed out, please let me know in the comments. And yeah, that just leaves me to say thank you very much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.